Hi, I'm Mitch, and this is the normal person's guide to using a neti pot. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about why to use a neti pot, some of the proper techniques for using a neti pot, and the proper equipment. First, this disclaimer. I'm not going to make any medical claims about neti pot. I'm not a doctor. I'm not qualified. I'm just a guy who's done this for 10 years, and I think it's a good thing for you to do. Now, like anything else in the world, you can get hurt doing anything, walking down the street. Yeah, you could breathe water down into your lungs and drown while you're doing a neti pot. But boy, you got to try really hard. Follow the instructions you're going to see, and you should be fine. Still yet, I cannot be responsible if you choose to do this. So, with that being said, I'm going to go on and show you what I think is a very good hygiene technique that'll make you happier and healthier. Here we go. Now, there are a lot of claims about nasal cleansing with a neti pot, that you'll never get a cold, or all your allergies will go away, or it's an instant cure. No, sorry, this is not the truth. Basically, the neti pot is a preventative measure. It's like brushing your teeth. If you have a rotten tooth, brushing your teeth doesn't make it go away. You're going to have to see a doctor about that. If you're having major nasal congestion, or you've got a cold right now, or you're looking for something to block your sinuses, the neti pot may not be the answer. It may provide some relief, but don't depend on it to be a panacea cure-all. It's a preventative measure. It's something you have to do to prevent your next cold, your next allergy attack, your next set of blocked sinuses. So it's actually really best to start when you're feeling fine. First, why should you use a neti pot? Well, a lot of folks, when they see the process of nasal cleansing using a neti pot, they say, "Ew, that's gross, that's disgusting, ew, I can't do that." Well, think about this for just a second. Is brushing your teeth gross? Huh? It kind of is when you think about it. You're sticking something in your mouth, you're spitting, you're doing all this stuff. But which is more gross and disgusting? Brushing your teeth or allowing all that plaque, bacteria, food to just rot inside your mouth? Well, it's the same thing with your nose. Every day you breathe in dirt, germs, contaminants, pollutants, chemicals, pollens, debris. All this stuff goes through your nose and is filtered out before it gets to your lungs. But it stays there. If you don't go in and clean that out every now and again, just think of what all that stuff is doing up here inside your head. Now, I've been using a neti pot for about 10 years. I actually started out with a small toy teapot that my daughter had, and I would mix the water and the salt inside that after getting the basic information from the internet. Now, since I've gone and gotten a proper neti pot, I've gone through several different types of neti pot. Here's what I use now. This is a metal neti pot. It is somewhat larger. It's stainless steel. It is made by these guys, Health and Yoga. And no, they are not sponsoring this video. I'm not getting anything from them. If that changes, I will add on to the end of this video and let you know that I'm getting some sort of financial compensation. But no, I'm not getting anything right now. I've had several of these over the years. Now, the problem that these used to have would be that they would rust right here at the spout, and that would leak. That was the problem I had with this particular neti pot. This is a really kind of, if it's shined up, I just got it out of the storage, so it's not really pretty right now, but shined up, this is a really beautiful brass neti pot with lots of nice artistic work on it from India. But right here, you can see it's just corroded away and it leaks. This is still a good neti pot, even with this leaking. I just decided it was time for something new, and I wanted something I didn't have to shine every 6 weeks or so. So I got this. I got the metal neti pot. Now, like I said, the design here is this spout is now removable, and it has a washer, a grommet on it that kind of takes up some of that corrosive activity of the salt water, and it allows it not to leak as much. Now, a word about the ones you're going to find in Walmart or CVS. Now everybody's like neti pot, and now you can buy them at the drugstore. Most of those are these little small plastic neti pots, and yes, they do serve the purpose. And yes, if you do want to try it, for inexpensively, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to tell you, you're not going to get the results that you can get with a larger pot. This holds more water, which provides more water pressure, which provides a better cleaning. Now, they run about $30 less or more. Give it $5 or $10 on the internet. Sometimes you can find a deal, but these will last you for years and years and give you good service. So this is what I suggest. Use this if you're going to do this regularly. A lot of the things I see talk about what kind of water to use and what kind of salt to use. I'll tell you the truth, I use regular, ordinary canning salt. I don't use anything special. I just go to the grocery store, I buy a box of canning salt, I put it in my little container like that. Yeah, that's a sugar container, but we keep it in the bathroom so nobody tries to sweeten their coffee with it, which would be a bad thing. But I keep my salt right in here. And like I said, it's just regular kosher canning salt. There are special blends. If you want to go in that direction, go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But this works for me, and has worked for me for about 10 years. Now, as for water, I just use tap water. There are people who are like, oh, you got to boil your water, you got to distill your water, da 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 da. And there have been cases where people using tap water have had some problems, but it's not so much the neti wash, it was the chemicals and the bacteria inside the water. So if your normal tap water meets any kind of state or federal standards, it's going to be fine. It's going to do just fine. It's going right through. It's coming right out. You do this every day, you're not going to have any problems. But here's the trick about water. What I do, it's very important that the water be of a proper temperature. And I'm going to let you know about that in just a second. One of the deals about the water is a lot of folks say, well, I don't want water up my nose. Well, yeah, of course. Most of the times you've had water up your nose, it's been in a swimming situation, you've been in a pool, the water has been cold or chlorinated. But when you use a neti pot, the whole idea about the water is it's supposed to match the temperature and the salinity of blood. Now, if you bust your nose, if you have a nosebleed, yeah, East Kentucky, thank you. If you have a nosebleed, when the blood comes out, you don't have that same feeling as when water goes up your nose. And there's a reason for that. Your body is used to the temperature and the salinity of the blood. So what you do is you make the water mimic that temperature and the amount of salt within it. That's why you put the salt in the water. Now, here's what works for me. When I run the tap, I get the water just hot enough that it stings just a little bit on the back of my hand, kind of like the way you women will do when you test how warm a baby's bottle should be. Okay, you want it just about body temperature. And if it's stinging just a little bit, I know that's going to work really well. Now, if I get it really hot, guess what? When I put that inside the nose, yes, that's going to burn. That's going to make your eyes tear. It's not really going to cause any damage if you can tough it out and you've got a really bad clog or a really bad congestion. That actually might be the way you want to go. But if you're just casually every day using your neti pot, get your water to where it's just a little bit stingy on the back of your hand, and that's going to work just fine. Now, how much salt to use? Now, this is important because if you use too much salt, yeah, it will burn the inside of your nose, and that's not good. So what you want to do is, this is my rule of thumb. I take my little dispenser, I put out my hand, I pour an amount of salt just about the size of a quarter in it. And that's a wee bit much, as a matter of fact. I can dump a little bit of that off, but about that much. And that'll do just fine. Then I go ahead and I put it into the neti pot, and I usually put it in before I add the water. And this way that helps it mix up without you sticking a spoon or something in it. If you want to use a spoon to stir it or something to stir it, that's fine. Then I go ahead and I add some of the water. I don't fill it all the way up. I put a little bit in, and I swash it around a little bit, and that dissolves up the salt. And then I go ahead and I fill it up to the top. Now, there are a few things that you can add to your neti pot water. You can there's some additives that you can buy on the internet. They're fine. You know, buy them if you want. Don't buy them if you don't want. I've gotten plenty of benefit without any additives. Don't put anything strange like some sort of essential oil or anything like that in it without first determining that it's safe to put in there, because you do want to watch out what you put in your nose. Well, now, here we go. I've got the neti pot filled up. I have the water at the proper temperature. Another nice thing about the metal neti pots is that you can feel the warmth of the water, and you can tell how warm the water is. Also, one pot usually has enough water to clean both sides, both nostrils. So now what you do is you insert the tip into your nose, and then you turn your head slightly and tilt the neti pot up. The design makes the water flow up and through your nose. If you keep your head tilted like this, you don't have to be all the way over like this or anything. You just tilt it a little bit, keep your mouth open, and do not talk while you're doing your neti pot. That's safe. You can talk, but when you first start, try not to. And why would you be talking to anybody anyway while you're cleaning out your nose? So here we go. There. Now, then once you get one side done, you switch around and you go to the other side. It's very important to do both sides, even if you're clogged up and you don't have a lot of success on one side. There's like a slow trickle. But it's important you do both sides. Also, it's important not to start with the same side every time. So switch off every now and then. Now, here we go. Nice advertisement for health and yoga as we do this. And they aren't paying me. Now, once again, it's very important you keep your head level. Only tilt side to side. Don't tilt forward or back. Just side to side, and that'll do. The neti pot, if you've got a good one, will take care of that process. Some of those little flat plastic ones, they really don't give you enough water pressure. You really have to tilt over to get them to work. Something like this, the design is better, and it works a lot better. So, all right, well, that's it. I hope you've learned a little something and you're willing to try this out. Let me encourage you, if you have kind of a bad experience at first, try again. Some of the things take a little bit of getting used to, but they are worth it. I think if you follow the instructions, you can do this safely and you can be happier and healthier because of it. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for your interest. Have a good day. Bye.